we have had some famous and interesting detectives over the years, whether it be Sherlock Holmes, Columbo, Monk, but there's nothing quite like Benoit Blanc. What a strange name for what this character is. It's a pretty eccentric name to have, but hey, he's making a name for himself. Him in that southern drawl.
What is this? CSI KFC?
Knives Out is directed and written by Rian Johnson. The film has an ensemble cast that includes Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, John Johnson, Toni Collette, LaKeith Stanfield, Katherine Langford, Jaeden Martell, and Christopher Plummer. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, when renowned crime novelist Harlan Thrombey is found dead at his estate just after his 85th birthday, the inquisitive and debonair detective Benoit Blanc is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. Rian Johnson is a gifted director/writer that has been able to subvert or play into expectations with audiences. Man can really have his own voice and his own passion when it comes to filmmaking, and this is a guy that I feel like is out there still making the movies that he wants to make. And so many people can either like or dislike his movies, but you cannot deny the man is willing to make the films that he wants to make or play into what a lot of people always come to expect with these kinds of movies, but keep the writing as sharply as it is. Having directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad, which got him his start in his early careers, 3 of them being really critical acclaimed episodes in the series, he then would go on to direct and write his own movies that would include Brick Looper, which definitely worth checking out with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis. Highly recommended. And this is one that I feel like is going to get super divisive when I say this, because of course it comes from my favorite franchise, but I'm just going to say it outright. 3, 2, 1, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. It's actually one of my favorites, if not my favorite Disney Star Wars film to have come out. Take what you can get from that. However, Rian has always wanted to make a modern day whodunit film that he has always had since the mid-2000s. This is a passion project of his that he's always had, which he attributed to Agatha Christie's film adaptations. The man really wanted to make his own version of that for today's audience. The culmination is Knives Out. Though I didn't see the film immediately when it came out, it was November of 2019, Thanksgiving. Never got a chance to see it, which sucks. It was stupid of me to ever not want to go see this movie, but I did manage to see it in the theater, although couple months later in February of 2020. But I remember watching it with my parents and I loved it. I seriously did. I found myself really loving this movie, and even upon rewatching it, I still love it. I think it is easily one of the best whodunit films to come out in recent years, and one that I feel like really does play into tropes, but in a way where it makes sense. It doesn't feel like it's just doing it for the sake of doing it. It felt like it was trying to be like a throwback or an homage to that period of mystery movies where it is the cliches, but in a very fun and clever way. And really, it does show Rian Johnson's love for murder mysteries in both style and substance. Because if it had just been style, by all means, it definitely deserves criticism. But if it is doing both things right in style and substance, I can't get mad at that, because that shows me a filmmaker understands the genre from its style and how, from a writing perspective, how he can twist it and make it into his own thing. Before addressing my only negative, because I only have one negative with this movie, here are the positives. The performances are excellent. The entire cast brings the charm and funny nature to this whodunit, allowing everyone to contribute in their own way. The ones that I do feel like stand out the most: Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, hilarious. He is amazing in this film. It truly seems like Daniel Craig just knew what he was getting into, and him and Rian Johnson just got to the crux of what this character is, and that is not only a classic detective, but one that is very eccentric, and one that is unique compared to other detectives in any sort of literature or rather film adaptation. And of course you have Chris Evans, hilarious, funny, such a huge goddamn prick in this movie, but I love it. And him in that sweater that he wears, man, just easily fits the vibe so well. And the Armas is also really likable as Marta Cabrera, and one that you just constantly feel bad for throughout this film with the stuff that she has to go through. And it's very sad, but she is able to really make you care about this character. There's, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays the older daughter of Christopher Plummer's character, Harlan Thrombey. Jamie Lee Curtis has been in the game for a very long time, and it's almost like she understood the assignment the moment she got that script as well, and she just played into this woman who really just is not only the sibling in the family, but also somebody who feels as if she has earned the right to that fortune that her father has. But then you also have Christopher Plummer, who, rest in peace, such a talented actor himself. He delivers such a funny and also very delightful performance as Harlan, and one that feels like somebody who wants to set good examples for people, especially for his family, when a lot of them are just super spoiled. And I just really like the fact that you have somebody like Christopher Plummer, even at his age at the time, was able to really be as captivating as he was as his character, because really he was really interesting to watch and see how much his mind just plays into the mystery novel area very well. The direction is flawless. Director Rian Johnson weaves and pulls viewers into this mystery that will leave you hooked, making this feel like respecting than rehashing. If there is something that is to take note of, is the fact that Rian Johnson does this in a way where he doesn't feel like he is doing it for the sake of just regurgitating what has been done before. It feels like he is taking what is happening in the past, but kind of playing into the tropes in a way where it feels right, but it doesn't feel like it's cheapening the value. It's actually making it more heightened and also just fun, because you can take those tropes that you've seen time and time again and just regurgitate them so many times. Rian Johnson decided, I'm going to take those tropes, but I'm going to make it not just my way. I'm going to cleverly put them together in a way where it can make sense. That's the whole point. It's really dumb, but it's the charm of it, the likability of it. And for me, he just understood what makes this genre appealing to so many people, but for today's audience, because nowadays you don't really see whodunits. A lot of mystery adaptations just aren't hitting it that much anymore, and with this movie proving that no, it can, it's just you have to have the right person to do it. Clearly Rian Johnson paid homage and love to this genre through and through. The writing is snappy. Johnson's twist and clever script plays into those expectations of whodunits, but in a funny and charming way. Ultimately, it will have audiences laughing, because there are a couple of moments in this movie where it is hilarious and makes good commentary as well. You cannot deny he's very clever in that way. He's really good at getting to the crux of not only just the characters of the Thrombey family, but just also even somebody like Marta Cabrera, how she is somebody who you get to learn and understand her point of view, and how much she is just trying her best. She is doing what she feels like is good in her heart, do what is right. Rian Johnson is able to just turn and twist the script so many times and throw curveballs to make you kind of think of things differently, see things in a different light, that just work very well. And he's very effective on just getting audiences to just be glued to the story in terms of how it's written. The story is fun. Watching Detective Benoit Blanc solve an author's murder was effective and delightful. This shows how much Johnson really wanted it to feel like an homage. Because again, he could have fallen into the traps of making this feel like it's just another standard mystery film that plays into those tropes. And he manages to play into them, but knows how to have fun with it. He's not trying to make this super duper serious, because even though there are serious and thrilling sequences in the film, he knows how to just showcase how much that the whodunit mystery series is just, it's fun, it's enjoyable, and even the characters just know how to have a good laugh with it too, because it also pokes fun at the genre as a whole. So I think for what Johnson had set out with this story of following this centric detective in this mystery is really fun and just all around a good time. The cinematography is beautiful. Cinematographer Steve Yeldon shoots a atmospheric influenced film that feels new but old, feeling refreshing. Usually when it comes to a murder mystery, they try to make it, again, style over substance. It's always kind of sometimes the case. Nowadays, that tends to be, but Rian Johnson, he's like, I want this movie to not only feel like an old school whodunit, I want this to have a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose with regards to what everything you see in this movie means. And the shots in this movie look incredible, they look gorgeous, and it's also at times up close and personal with characters' faces, their expressions, how they feel. And I think that's a good way of playing on audiences' expectations in a way of really just leaning into that by showcasing the tropes, by showcasing the stuff in Harlan's house and the ways in which they are able to really just twist and make everything feel right, that it can look amazing but also have some sort of meaning behind it. The music is solid. Composer Nathan Johnson, who is, of course, Ryan's cousin, creates an eerie, whimsical, and thrilling score that feels on par with the rest of the film, understanding what his cousin is conveying. It seems like Nathan and Ryan have a good relationship with one another because it just seems like Nathan Johnson just understood what his cousin wanted, how he wanted the movie to feel, how the movie wanted to act, and he was able to implement a score that really does feel like how murder mystery films tend to be with their scores, and also know how to get whimsical but also thrilling as well. So they are able to have this sort of understanding with one another with what they are making, where they feel like they are in sync with how they're creating it. And Nathan Johnson was able to create a score that feels like a throwback to those old whodunit. The production is stellar. The attention to detail in the props, sets, and costumes is incredible. Also, the effort in the crew work is on display. There's always something to be had when it comes to a whodunit, and especially one that tries to be kind of a throwback. And with this, with having the props of what Harlan has in his house, whether it be the different characters in his book series, library, especially with the knives. The sets look amazing, especially the house. The house itself looks stunning, it looks gorgeous. It really does fit the vibes of what this film should be. And again, the costumes look incredible. Of course, on Benoit Blanc, I do love the coat and the styling that he's got going on, and especially Chris Evans. Such a douchey looking costume, but man, does it fit right on him. Again, the crew work is there. It showcases how much they are able to make this feel how mystery movies tend to be, how they tend to feel, and how they are able to showcase it all on display. And it's there. It's all the hard work is being paid off in those moments. The pacing and runtime is effective. Every scene is exciting and interesting. And while so many people could say or even criticize how much this movie goes on, I think for myself, if it's worth the story being as long as it is and feels as engaging and as interesting as it is, I am very much glued to that screen and I will really following along as it goes on. With a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes, it just works out in general. Technically, whenever it comes to movies of this caliber and that runtime, that could be a nitpick, but because the movie had me tied to the screen, I was never bored. I was never uninterested. I was always fascinated and just wanting to know what was going to happen next. And I really do like that because then that tells me, hey, this is a story that took its time and actually had something to say and something that is of good merit. And I like that for a filmmaker to do that because then that tells me, okay, if that feels like how it is, then yeah, I can definitely see how that runtime does work perfectly. The editing is perfect. Each cut feels on point and precise. It also feels consistent. If there is one thing I have gripe of with regards to some films is how do you have the editing? And the editing here works out well, especially since you're having to deal with a lot of stuff in this movie, especially with exposition, which I forgot to mention. Yes, the movie does have that. However, it is not exposition that is terrible, nor is it stupid. It's playing into the tropes of how murder mysteries usually tend to tell their audience what the killer or what other people's motives are. And it does it in a fun and charming way that it never was like a bothersome to me. And the editing does pretty well with reflecting what this movie is. Very sharp, very witty, and very much knowing of what it is going for. And I do appreciate how much it is also consistent. It is never feeling like it dips down quality or slows the movie down. It keeps it going and it never lets up. It's so good, but there's one aspect that holds it back from being perfect. Maybe some people may either agree or disagree with this, and maybe this is one that somebody could say, Zach, no, but Just hear me out when I say this. So here is now my only negative. The villain is on the nose. As the movie goes on, it's kind of clear who the killer is, and maybe that's intentional because it could very much be that way. In that, how much this movie does lean into those expectations, you kind of assume now who the killer is. But I do feel like by doing that, though, it does feel like it's heavily leaning into it to where it's becoming almost too obvious. One in which I do think that it becomes very much easy to know who is what. And I understand that maybe that is the intention, but for me, I do think that there could have been a way where it is intentional on who it could be, but it also can lead the audiences thinking it could have been this person, this person, this person. This movie kind of makes you feel like, well, everyone has conflicts with one another, but do I actually truly believe that, oh, if I look at everyone, who would I assume was the killer? I'd be like, it's that one. It's that easy. Aside from that, this is a treat from beginning to end. It delivers on what a murder mystery should be in keeping audiences interested. And it's just truly a special case of showcasing how much Rian Johnson is a crafty filmmaker. He is somebody who, if you give him a series or a genre that he is well versed in or has spent time learning, he'll do it. He'll nail it down pretty well. And to me, it seems like he has figured out what the murder mystery genre is like. And for that, I respect him wholeheartedly. And again, an original IP. It's not based off of anything except just being an inspiration of the Agatha Christie film adaptations. But other than that, honestly, it's just nice knowing that there's an original IP like this, especially in the murder mystery genre, that feels really fun and charming to watch rather than just being always super duper serious while still bringing up conversations about issues that are in this world. I just like the fact that it is able to actually, not take itself super duper seriously and just have fun with it. I'm going to give Knives Out a 9 out of 10. This is just an amazing time to watch a film of this nature. And to me, again, Rian Johnson, he is a filmmaker out there who is willing to make the movies or even shows that he wants to make. And I respect him for that because nowadays you hardly get that, especially with a lot of directors of his caliber who's still kind of fairly new. I wouldn't say 100% new, but fairly new to where he's made a name and a reputation for himself. And while the internet can still say what they want to say about him and what he has contributed to Star Wars, you can't deny the man just knew how to make a great whodunit, and for that, I respect him wholeheartedly for that. So I will soon be reviewing Glass Onion, the sequel to Knives Out. So yes, look forward to that review and other reviews coming soon.